Looks like we are live, folks. Welcome to the latest live stream for Reason to Resist. If you'll bear with me for just 1 second, I'm going to make sure that we are A-OK on all three of our platforms. We are trying to stream today from YouTube and from Instagram and also from X. And for some godforsaken reason, I don't yet see us live on X. Don't know what that's all about. Anyways, Rami, while I'm doing this, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you are? Can you hear me, Rami? Okay, so Rami, as you may have gathered from our notices about this live stream, is in Cuba, and I believe he's walking along the boardwalk in Cuba, and he warned me before we began today that his connection in Cuba was going to be problematic, and that does in fact appear to be the case. While we're waiting for Rami to reconnect, I'd like to say hello to the people who are joining us today. We've got Ricky Prepper, Fuck Bankers, a most excellent handle. We have Buzuki Student, greetings from Kalamata, Yasas, and Co-op W101, Viva Cuba, and Ayantu in the Now, who says it looks beautiful in Cuba. It really does. And we're going to be sharing with you today some of the imagery that Rami has taken. Rami, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you tell us where you are, brother?
I'm on the Malecon, iconic little avenue on the coast of Havana. As you can see behind me, you can see the sea, the beautiful Cuban flag behind me. But sadly, there's very little traffic here in Havana, and I'll tell you guys why later on.
Rami, can you tell people, for people who haven't been to Havana before, can you just explain what the Malecon is?
The Malecon is this little strip of road. It's kind of like a highway that does the entire coast of Havana. Basically from Old Havana, which is right there. You can't really see it. It's quite far. Passing by the U.S. Embassy, the Embassy of the Greater Satan, and up to Miramar, which is pretty much where all the embassies are. So it's a little like highway where you can walk on the coast, and usually it's filled with people swimming and having fun. But sadly, due to lack of fuel, not many people could get here. So it's pretty much deserted. And it's also very, very hot right now. The sun is hitting me so strong. So this is another reason why people are not on the Malecon right now. But yes, it's a little highway, beautiful. You could see it on the video clip of Chan Chan by Buena Vista Social Club. It's iconic, it's beautiful, full of soul.
And you're dressed with that wonderful white shirt and the exposed chest with the Palestine flag. I was going to say you look suspiciously similar to the young Ricardo Montalban, the famous Latin actor. But in any case, it's good to see you, brother. I'm happy that you're safe. And why don't you start by telling us when you arrived and just give us a summary of what you've done while you've been in Havana since you arrived.
So I flew in from Bogota to Havana on Wednesday. I coordinated with members of the Colombian Cuban French Association, as well as the Cuban Embassy in Colombia, and other comrades in Canada who helped me fundraise some money. And we donated 35 kilograms of medical solidarity. This is not aid. This is not charity. This is pure solidarity with Cuba, giving back to Cuba what Cuba has given to the world, which is doctors in places where there's crisis. The Reese Brigade has provided free medical assistance wherever there has been humanitarian crisis, whether it was Haiti. So we provided 35 kilograms of medical solidarity to the ICAP, which is the Cuban Institute of Friendship with the Peoples. And that was immediately given to the network of Cuban hospitals where there's a shortage of medicine. This shortage of medicine is man-made. This is a man-made humanitarian crisis here in Cuba. Cuba is able to produce most of the medicine it needs, but the factories are out of fuel. And the lack of fuel has stopped Cuba the ability of producing its own medicine. And now it has resorted to calling on people of good conscience around the world to donate medicine and to bring it. I brought it through my flight to Cuba, but there is a flotilla organized by Nuestra America Progressive International to bring much needed aid to much needed solidarity to Cuba so that the hospital network can keep functioning.
Now, Rami, I don't know if you're able to see on your phone what, and by the way, Rami's connection in his hotel apparently is not as good as his phone. So that's one of the reasons why he's out in the streets of Havana today. But I don't know if you can see the photographs I've put up on the screen. First of all, I'm going to start with a photograph you sent of a red bag. You've zipped it open and it looks like there's a bunch of medical supplies in there. Is that the, by the way, Reason to Resist is, provided some funding to help Rami deliver solidarity provisions to the Cuban people on his trip. Obviously, what he can do by carrying stuff onto an airplane is very limited, but if anything, we can at least show our solidarity. So this bag that you sent me a photo of, the red bag that's zipped open, these are the medical supplies you brought with you when you.
This is one of two bags that I brought in. This is a 10-kilogram bag. The other one was 23 kilograms. I mean, looking back at it now, I'm laughing, but it really felt like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Maria Full of Grace. It's a Colombian movie about a mule bringing drugs into the United States. And I was a bit scared of bringing 35 kilograms of medical solidarity through the Colombian airport. Thankfully, nothing happened. But this is essentially, yes. I went to a pharmacy in Bogota where I gave them the list that the Cuban hospitals have provided to me. And I tried to buy as much that I can. I also spoke to other friends of mine that are in Cuba. One of them, her grandfather is a veteran of the Cuban army who fought in Angola to fight for the liberation of Angola. So I felt like I had an obligation to bring him aspirin and DP ramin. I forgot what the name is. And I also delivered medicine to a former Vietnamese ambassador to Cuba who decided to live there. And a lot of people are in need of medicine right now. And we're trying our best to provide the help, the solidarity that we can. And there's more comrades coming in tomorrow and on Wednesday that will be providing even more solidarity to the Cuban people.
And when you left Bogota, Colombia, with these two bags of medical supplies, did you get asked any questions at the airport? Because I know you have to go through, immigration and customs when you're departing Bogota. I just did that myself. Did anybody ask you why you had all these pharmaceutical products in your bags?
I checked in the luggages to avoid the trouble, but sadly I had to pay like an extra penalty with Wingo, like an extra $120 per luggage, which was a bit disappointing. But right. Whatever, like when you hear the stories of these Cubans and their need for the medicine, I really felt like this is the least of my worries to pay $120 fee per luggage. Wingo has aggressive predatory policies when it comes to checking in luggage at the airport. Also, we provided medical solidarity to Pepe, a Cuban photojournalist whose daughter has lupus. She hasn't taken her medicine in 3 months. And the Colombian Cuban Solidarity Friendship Association gave me well, they told me this was the most important medicine that I had to deliver to Cuba, and I was holding it to my dear life. Just the amount of emphasis they've put on this medicine. So that was also one of the first medical packages that I delivered.
Okay, so I put up on the screen here again. I don't know if you can see it. By the way,
Yep.
more people are entering the chat. Hello from Mexico City, garlic lasagna. I just saw someone from Scotland. Your name is no longer in the chat, but anyway, thank you for joining us today. So as people are coming in, just reminding you what we're doing right now is talking to our brother and correspondent Rami Yahia, who is walking on the Malecon in Havana. He's been in Cuba for a few days, and he's explaining to us the medical supplies he's brought into the country in solidarity with the Cuban people. We've contributed to his efforts to help in any way that he can, but he's also there to report on the conditions on the ground for Reason to Resist. And Rami, I've just put up on the screen, so I showed the one of the 2 bags of pharmaceutical supplies. Now I've got up on the screen a photograph of 4 people. It looks like they're health workers, and they're holding up pharmaceutical products, and it looks like they're in a hospital. Can you tell us who these people are?
So we donated the medicine to ICAP, which is the Cuban Institute of Friendship with the Peoples. There's multiple different hospitals in Havana that are in deep need of assistance. So I couldn't circulate through every single hospital, but our partners on the ground have delivered the separated I think this is where we delivered the medical solidarity, and they've then split up or organized the medicine into different, let's just say, like fields of expertise. And different hospitals across Havana are specializing in different medical needs. So I believe this was the first place where we delivered the aid through the help of ICAP, so that the aid could then be dispatched across all the different hospitals in the network, and to make sure that these medical supplies are not just concentrated in Havana, but in all parts of Cuba.
Right. And Jeff's curious, what was it that they were in particular need of? For those who are listening and who may be in a position to help, what was it that you were told our Cuban brothers and sisters are in the healthcare system really need at this particular moment?
Well, besides fuel, which is essential to keep the hospital lights functioning and the dialysis machines functioning and the ambulances functioning and these taxis functioning that brings these patients to the hospitals, there has been a deep need for diabetes medicine, lupus medicine, acetaminophen, something like that, ibuprofen, of course, but I'm sure there's more important medicine that is required. When I came back, well, I sent a message to the Cuban Colombian Friendship Association. I reported back to them after delivering the care package that we delivered. I was told by the Cuban doctors that they're in need of these kind of like these needles that you put in these IV machines in order to like kind of break down the liquid into droplets. That has been needed. There's inflamed prostate medicine that is essential and required. There's a shortage of. I mentioned lupus, diabetes. I could share, maybe Dimitri, I could send you that list, but I don't know how I'll be able to do this right now. But there's an entire list of medicine. Oh, vitamins for children. That's very crucial at the moment. Vitamin formulas for children. Powdered milk.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Rami. Send me after the live stream the list of the things you think are most needed, and we will put that list in the description to the video. Does that sound like a plan?
Absolutely. High blood pressure. Well, all high blood pressure and low blood pressure medicine also is extremely essential.
Okay. And can you tell us when you spoke to these health workers, just generally, quite apart from the provisions that they need at this moment, what did they tell you about if anything, what were they able to tell you about how the blockade is affecting life in Cuba?
Well, the first thing, and that's the first mistake I've done here, is calling it a blockade or an embargo. People here are using the word siege now. They're comparing it to the siege of Constantinople, the siege on Gaza. There's no more fuel in this country. Only Cuba, the only fuel in this country is coming from local production, which is around 30 or 40% of the energy supply here. There's massive amounts of, Dimitri, I forgot to send you the picture. Am I still on the line with you?
Yes, you are. We can hear you.
Okay. So I think I sent you on WhatsApp images of the trash being piled up in the streets.
You did indeed. Let me just put one of those images up. And yeah, this is some of what you've been talking about in our conversations, Rami. So what is the situation with the garbage collection? It looks pretty grim.
So the Cuban government has implemented emergency measures in order to maximize whatever amount or little fuel amount left in this country. So of course the ambulances, the essential taxis for the ill, the people with medical needs are being prioritized. So the garbage disposal service has been limited. It's passing by less often. I just went to go get breakfast and you had reminded me to send you a picture. And 3 seconds after you told me to take a picture of the garbage piles, I saw one. So this is really not hard. There's one right there in front of me. Maybe I don't know if I could switch my camera's angle, but anyways, in pretty much one street corner out of 3 or 4, there's massive amounts of trash piled up because there's not enough fuel to keep these services recurring or to fulfill the need of the local population. This could cause breakouts of illnesses, cholera, hepatitis. So that's why people are no longer calling it a blockade. It's a health humanitarian crisis. The way the government is, I saw one garbage disposal service pass by and it was a massive truck followed by a tractor because it's physically impossible for a human being to get rid of this trash. It's a tractor that is able to lift the trash, probably can do 3-4 street corners before being completely full. And again, this is a man-made humanitarian crisis. This is from the...
We can hear you. I'm just showing the video of
this is caused by...
We can hear you. Well, we can't hear you. Can you hear us, Rami?
This is caused by the American blockade, the United States blockade, the Trump regime's siege on Cuba. Cuba has the money to buy fuel. It has the partners in the region to buy fuel. They used to buy them from Venezuela and Mexico, but all fuel tankers have been seized. There's been some discussions that Russia has been providing fuel. People are not speaking openly about it. I think it's because they don't want to test their luck and wake up the beast, the United States.
Looks like Rami is frozen there. While Rami is, thank you so much, Anna Weirs, for your contribution. Much appreciated. It'll help us to do our on-the-ground reporting and also provide more solidarity to the wonderful people of Cuba. And I saw, although it's not on the part of the screen I can see, there were a couple of other people who made generous contributions, and I thank you all for doing that. I'm going to show you, while we're waiting and hoping for Rami to come back, a video that he sent of some Cubans, people in Havana, expressing defiance in their own way, shall we say. I don't know exactly what this video is. Rami has not had an opportunity to explain it to me, but I thought I would share it with you nonetheless. He took this in Havana sometime since he arrived a couple of days ago. So again, I don't know where that video was taken other than that it was in Havana. It appears to be outside, and just, unbelievable that the people in Havana find the strength and good cheer to dance in the open air, even with the terrible barbarism that is being visited upon them by the United States government. I was reminded by a post on X this morning. I'll see if I can share it with you. Just how broad the global opposition to the siege of Cuba, or the embargo, call it what you will, happens to be. So let me see if I can share this image with you, which is quite telling. It is from the United Nations General Assembly. This was the most recent resolution on condemnation at the UN General Assembly of the United States embargo on Cuba. This looks to me to be, well, this may not be the most recent one. This is from October 2024, but the voting, as far as I can recall from the more recent one, which was in late 2025, was almost exactly the same. There might have been a few more abstentions, but if you can't see it there are 2 countries, and only 2 countries, who voted against the condemnation of the embargo on Cuba. And of course, those countries were Israel and the United States. This is October 2024. One country abstained, and you may be interested to know that it was the Republic of Moldova. So, if you have any doubts about the pro-EU, as they call her, leader of Moldova, and where her sympathies really lie, I mean, this is a person who routinely accuses the Russian Federation of egregious violations of international law and condemns them. And here is her government, the only state in the world that abstained from a resolution condemning the U.S. embargo. And as I said, only 2 opposed the resolution, the U.S. and its rabid Israeli attack dog. So that is the state of play in Cuba today. I don't know whether Rami is going to be able to join us again. I hope he can. Let me show you one other photograph he sent to me. This is Rami in the streets of Havana. I don't know who these 2 gentlemen are. Together they're displaying the Palestinian flag. It looks to me like Rami just got into Havana, because you can see right there he's got his suitcase full of and his red duffel bag full of medical supplies. The Cuban people, of course, are well known for their extraordinary solidarity with the Palestinian people. Thank you so much, Random that 7807, for your incredibly generous contribution. We will put it to good use here at Reason to Resist. There's been a lot of generosity in the chat today. It's moving that you're all helping out. It helps us to help, the victims of Western imperialism, which is what our channel is all about. Let me see if there are any other images that Rami sent to me that I might be able to share with you. No, it looks like I've shown them to you all. So I'm going to move on to other topics, and if Rami is able to join us before we finish, thank you, Rachel at Newport, for your super sticker. Wow, really can't thank you all enough. You're wonderful. So again, if Rami can't join us again, I'm going to jump into the next set of topics we wanted to discuss in the balance of the live stream, and hopefully we'll get him back and he can tell us more about what's happening in Cuba. The first thing I want to just alert you all to, we've been covering intensively since I returned from Venezuela about 2 weeks ago, the Epstein scandal, which, as I've explained, I won't get into it again, for me is of monumental importance because of what it reveals about the structure of power in our societies, particularly here in the West. And personally, I feel if this story is told widely enough, honestly enough, and if we get into the evidence deeply enough, we could bring about some profound changes for the better in our society. I think this scandal has the potential to wake a lot of people up from the intellectual coma in which the elites have placed many of us, at great effort. They're very effective at distracting us from their crimes. But this really is a bit too much for the public to stomach, and hopefully we can continue to bring to you more and more truth about this absolutely appalling scandal involving the most notorious pedophile of our time, Jeffrey Epstein. So we've just published a report yesterday, which is focused on Les Wexner, who is the billionaire who is closest, who by all accounts was the one who was closest to Jeffrey Epstein. And Wexner is a man who's worth some $9 billion. He accumulated his wealth, at least the official version, by running or building a company called L Brands, which had a number of marquee retail operations, including, in particular, Victoria's Secret. And about 3 days ago, Wexner finally gave a deposition, sworn testimony in response to questions from about 5 members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans, which was, for some reason, the deposition was given at his home. I personally, as a lawyer who's deposed many people, cross-examined many people in the course of my 30-plus year career, I found that to be quite odd that, the congressional, interrogators and their staffers went from Washington to Wexner's palatial home in Ohio. That seemed to be a waste of money. Why wasn't Wexner, who has his own private plane, required to go to Washington? It's like the mountain going to, Muhammad instead of Muhammad coming to the mountain, I guess. In any case, and the other thing, one of the things I've learned over the course of my career as a lawyer when I do these things is I don't like to conduct my cross-examinations and depositions in the opponent's friendly territory. So I, will try systematically to get the witness to give testimony in some neutral location. But for some reason, they decided to spend a whole lot of taxpayer money in Congress and send all these people to Wexner's home. And he gives this 5-hour deposition. And the deposition, I wouldn't say that it was all, a series of softball questions. I think the Republicans were very soft on him. The Democrats were a little bit more aggressive, but it wasn't nearly as penetrating and as incisive as it ought to have been. And I forced myself to watch this damn deposition. It's almost 5 hours long, and did a detailed report. I'm not going to get into it. I do recommend, if you care about this, subject, this massive pedophile ring, and which appears very much to have involved the intelligence agencies of the United States and Israel, then I do recommend to you that you watch that video. It's called Les Wexner, Israel, and Victoria's Dark Secrets. And I'll just sort of give you my summary. I didn't get into this too much in the course of the video. My video was very much focused on the particular problems with his testimony, and I was analyzing them. But my overall assessment is, and I can't prove it, I'm expressing an opinion to you, is that Wexner perjured himself 6 ways from Sunday in that deposition. The corporate media is presenting the deposition as, I think I can fairly summarize it as a nothing burger. That they want you to believe it was a nothing burger. It wasn't. It was extremely revealing. In particular, quite remarkable admissions made by Wexner about his close ties to the Israeli political elite. I don't think he did that intentionally. It was inadvertent on his part. And the most shocking thing of all, as I say in the video, is that he testified that the FBI and the DOJ have never questioned him ever in connection with the Epstein scandal, even though we now know that the FBI considered Wexner to be a co-conspirator of the most notorious pedophile of our time. This is absolutely inexcusable, inexplicable, and tells you all you need to know about the U.S. political elites' desperation to bury this story. The fact that they are refusing even to question Les Wexner, even though the documents revealed that they considered him to be a co-conspirator. I mean, they're not only not prosecuting him, they won't even question the man as a witness, is criminal. It's just, there's a criminal offense called obstruction of justice in the United States under criminal law. This is true of all our legal systems in the West. They should charge Pamela Bondi and Kash Patel, the leader of the FBI, with obstruction of justice. This is exactly what they're doing. They are actually perverting the course of justice. And it's obvious that they're doing that. So this is a story we will continue to follow. But I'm telling you, folks, today I'm taking the day off from reviewing those documents. I've been reviewing Epstein documents every day for the last 2 weeks. And I just need a day off because it's a soul-crushing experience. It really is. And having to listen to that aging, decrepit Zionist billionaire buddy of, pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, Les Wexner, lie for 5 hours, which in my opinion is exactly what he did, was a bit too much. So today I'm happy to be talking about something else with our friend Rami, who has rejoined us. There he is, back on the streets of Havana. Where are you now, Rami?
I'm on some alley. I ran out of internet, and the Cuban telco stores are closed. So I was able to negotiate someone to buy internet, like whatever amount of money he has on his card. And todo bien, todo bien. Muchas gracias.
So Rami, it looks like you're not on the Malecon anymore. Are you now in the old part of Havana? Where are you now?
Were you able to understand me, Dimitri?
I was able to understand that you were saying hello to some comrades in the street, but where are you? Where are you now, Rami? You're not on the Malecon anymore? Can you hear me, Rami? Rami, hello?
So I had run out of internet. So I just started. Yeah, I could hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
I had run out of internet.
Okay, so how do you have a connection at all now?
Yeah, so
Oh, unfortunately, we've lost him again. Okay, so hoping that we'll get him back, I'm going to move on to the next subject for our live stream today. I wanted to give you all a brief update about the ongoing genocide in Palestine. Oh, wait, it looks like he's back.
yeah,
Okay,
sorry, folks. So
Rami.
I had run out of internet. I ran across a couple of streets here, talking to everyone I can to try to get some money on my card. And sadly, the Etexa, which is like the cell phone provider here, is closed on Sundays. So I bought money off of someone else's card. Thankfully, that person had like 2,500 pesos on his card. He sold me 250 pesos at a premium, of course, and that's fine. We're happy to pay it so that we could complete this interview. And now I'm back on the Malecon, since it's where the internet seems to be the most stable.
Mm-hmm. So Rami, I'm putting up on the screen here the photograph you sent to me of you with two gentlemen and the Palestinian flag. Can you tell us what's this all about? Who are those gentlemen?
The person on the right, his name is Yazan.
Uh-huh.
He's a Palestinian from Jerusalem who's on a full paid scholarship by the Cuban government. The Cuban government is in full unconditional support with the Palestinian people. He's a student at Elam, which is a university built for foreigners. And most students there are on a full paid scholarship by the Cuban government. It's their way of supporting the Palestinian people. Yazan is expected to go back to Palestine and provide medical care to the Palestinian people. He's educated and taught by the Cuban people, by the Cuban government, by the Cuban Revolution. And when I coordinated with the comrades in Colombia for the donation of the medicine, they put me in touch with him. but I had already known him because on my first trip to Cuba 4 or 5 years ago, I was in touch with a comrade named Watan, who was kind of the spokesperson for the Palestinian students here in Cuba. He actually met Diaz Canal, the president of Cuba, multiple times. And when I messaged him that I was coming to Cuba, he said that he's no longer there, he's in Jordan, but that he put me in touch with Yazan. And Yazan is very grateful from the Cuban government. I asked him, how do you feel about the situation? He's like, there's no country in the world that would give me the opportunity that Cuba has given us. They pay for his education, his housing, and his food to become a doctor. No one knows about this. Very few people do. This is truly blind, not blind. This is like Cuba giving to the world while no one is looking. I believe this was very touching because the Colombians really wanted to make sure that we give this medicine kind of in the name of the Palestinian people. So I coordinated with Yazan. We gave the medicine to the gentleman on the left, who is I believe, a member of the ICAP, the Cuban Institute of Friendship with the Peoples, and he helped us deliver it to the network of hospitals. And we waved the Palestinian flag because I believe it's a beautiful symbol of solidarity, not even a solidarity, of internationalism. Palestine is not a country that provides aid to the world. We are a people that are in need of aid, of solidarity.
Right.
But it's a friendship and a symbol of two people facing the same embargo, the same siege. Israel, through the United States, is suffocating the Palestinian people. The United States is suffocating the Cuban people. And the greatest response is the solidarity of and the comradeship, the brotherhood of the Cuban and Palestinian people. We're one, we are one. We are the same people facing the same oppression. And this is a beautiful, I feel the Palestinian flag and the flag of Cuba, which you should be able to see behind me, is the flag of solidarity. It's the flag of internationalism.
Right. Wonderful story, Rami. I'm just going to show the video you sent. I've already shared it with our audience, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm going to show the video you sent of people dancing. Could you tell us what this is all about? What is this video of these people dancing in Havana, I would assume?
Yeah. So,
go ahead.
So this is called the Cuba Pavilion. There's, again, this is when the blackouts start coming out. This was shot at around like 6 p.m. And I had just finished interviewing Comrade Ivan Ernesto Barreto. And he said,
You're breaking up there, Rami. Oh, we've lost him just when we were about to find out what this video is. Well, I'm going to move on then to the Palestine update. Sorry, folks, for the back and forth, but as you can imagine, this is it's kind of the best we can do under the current circumstances. So moving then to the subject of Palestine, and if Rami comes back in or we get a connection, I'll let him continue. I want to show you the update issued today by the Gaza Ministry of Health. This is the February 22nd, 2026 update. In the last 24 hours, they report that 2 martyrs and 3 injuries had arrived in Gaza Strip hospitals. The total of the Israeli aggression has risen to 72,072 martyrs and almost 172,000 injuries since October 7th, 2023. The one thing I want to focus on here is the death toll since this so-called ceasefire, this fraudulent kabuki theater bullshit ceasefire came into effect purportedly on October 11th of last year. Since then, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health, the murderous, satanic Israeli military has killed 614 Palestinians, injured 1,643. What is really sort of stands out for me about this is that I've been monitoring the rate at which Israel is killing Palestinians in Gaza on a regular basis since this joke of a ceasefire went into effect. For the last, I would say we're now into the 5th month. For the last 3 months, the rate at which they are killing has stayed remarkably steady. It has been an average of 5 people per day. And I have great difficulty believing that that is random, because it's been that way for so many weeks. And I think what's going on is that, just as the Israelis carefully calibrated how much food they were going to let into Gaza, how many calories each Gazan they were going to allow to consume on average, I think that they've done something very similar here. They've come to the conclusion that they want to keep the level of killing at approximately 5 people per day in Gaza. Because my guess is, I'm speculating admittedly, but it's just been too long that the rate of killing has stayed at that level. It's remarkable. I think what they've decided is that at that rate of killing and injuring people, they can continue to fly under the radar with the complicit corporate media and complicit governments of the West. They won't attract too much in the way of public outrage. They already have a massive public relations problem. But at the same time, when you're killing 5 people a day by bombing them, artillery shells, drone strikes, airstrikes, you're maintaining a certain level of terror in the minds of the Palestinians. You're keeping them in a constant state of fear and insecurity. And when you add to that the terror factor, the destruction of the healthcare system, the contamination of the water supply, the absence of shelter, and in the winter conditions in particular, and the fact that they're increasingly concentrated in a smaller and smaller area in Gaza, the surviving population, which of course creates conditions that are ideal for the spread of deadly diseases or debilitating diseases. You add all of that together, what you have is an ongoing genocide, but all of it being done with the help of the complicit media and the complicit governments at a level of killing and death that enables Israel to remain just under the radar of public outrage. I think that's what's going on here. I think that they are purposefully maintaining the killing at this rate because they calculate that that is the best way for them to accomplish their objective long term, which is to remove, either by mass murder or by deportation, the Palestinian population of Gaza entirely from the Gaza Strip. And of course, that is not all the horror that the Palestinian people are having to deal with, not by a long shot. Here is a report from the Committee to Protect Journalists, an international agency of some renown. A recent report found that approximately 60 Palestinian journalists report that they were subjected to beatings, starvation, and sexual violations while detained in occupation prisons. So the Epstein regime is alive and well in the genocidal Israeli entity. The committee reviewed dozens of testimonies, photographs, and medical records. They did a thorough investigation documenting serious violations, including physical assaults, forced stress positions, sensory deprivation, and sexual violence. One journalist reported that Israeli terrorists tied his genitals with plastic ties and beat him to the point of internal bleeding. Now, there's more. The resistance in Palestine, in Gaza, reports that the occupation is preventing the entry of copies of the Holy Quran into the Strip after having destroyed Palestinian mosques and burned copies of the Quran. This, of course, is during the holy month of Ramadan that this is being done. Nothing is sacred to these people. Then there is a further report reminding people of the youngest prisoner in the torture dungeons of the Israeli entity. His name is Islam al-Akra. He's only 13 years old. He was arrested by the occupation while in the border area to collect iron in October 2023. Who knows what they have done to that child, whether Islam is even alive today, whether if he manages to survive what he's enduring, he will ever be able to lead a normal life. So that is our update on what is happening in Palestine. I cannot stress enough the importance of reminding the world that this genocide has never ended. It is ongoing, and it has expanded to the West Bank, where we are receiving near daily reports of Israeli terrorism against innocent, unarmed Palestinians who are simply trying to lead a normal life in their own homeland. So please do all that you can to keep this genocide front and center in the public discourse in the West. I must say, and I say this with considerable pain, that they seem to have succeeded for the time being in moving the subject of this genocide well down the totem pole of subjects that are being discussed in the public discourse. And I think that's even true in the alternative media. There's been a lot less discussion in the alternative media about the genocide, the ongoing genocide against the Palestinian people, although the alternative media certainly does continue to do a much better job than the corporate media in that regard and generally. And the last thing I'm going to say, unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to get Rami back, but I just want to, I see he's actually in the window. Rami, can you hear me? Rami? Rami, can you hear me? Let me just send Rami a message there. The last thing I want to say while we're hoping that Rami will be able to rejoin us is that, all indications are that there will be a war against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and that could start at any moment. I've tried to refrain from expressing views about several subjects related to that war. One is, when it will begin. I have no idea, and frankly, nobody in the alternative media really knows, or the corporate media for that matter. And I'm not even sure that the leaders of the genocidal Trump and Netanyahu regimes know what the plan is. They might not have a particular plan at this point. They're just sending military assets to the region and pounding their chests without knowing exactly what they should do. I think certainly Trump appears to have boxed himself into the corner, and he must know that this war could go terribly awry. And if it does, it could be over for him. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing turns out to be the disaster that it has all the makings to become, that even Republicans begin to turn against him, and that he begins to face impeachment proceedings even before the midterms, which he is positioned to lose in spectacular fashion. So at the same time, I have a great deal of difficulty that the Trump regime will be able to resist the temptation to attack now that it has sent all these military assets to the region, because if it were to launch no attack after having done that, that would be viewed as a capitulation by many people around the world, and particularly the neocons in the United States government. And I know that the billionaire class, there are certain elements of it, particularly those who make their filthy money from the sale of arms and from the exploitation of the fossil fuel resources of others. They would love to see this war, so there's a lot of pressure on him to act. Very difficult to believe that Trump, whatever reluctance he may have to go down this path, because it's extremely dangerous for him personally, very difficult to believe he's going to be able to withdraw all of those military assets from the region without using them. So again, I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows when this war is going to begin. And furthermore, there's been a lot of speculation in the, I regard it as speculation in the alternative media, and to a lesser degree in the corporate media, about how much assistance the Chinese and Russians have given to the Iranian government during the last 8 months or so since the 12-day war ended. I'm sure they've given some assistance, but again, I don't think any of us really knows to what degree they've provided assistance. And in the short time that has elapsed since the 12-day war, how much can Russia and China improve Iran's ability to defend itself? It's not an easy task to integrate things like, sophisticated air defense systems, sophisticated electronic warfare systems, Su-35 fighter jets into a military. That takes quite a while to teach the recipients of that weaponry and that military technology to use it effectively in battlefield conditions. So I think what's really going to ultimately determine the outcome of this war is what are Iran's indigenous capabilities, and what ballistic missile arsenal was left to them when the 12-day war ended, and what were they able to replenish since then, and were they using their best missiles? It's not clear that they were, and it's entirely possible that we have yet to see the best ballistic missile capability or cruise missile capability that the Iranians have to offer. I think one thing we can say with a very high level of confidence: this war is going to cause a lot of suffering, and it ain't going to be won by the West. I'm not saying that anybody's going to win it. It could just be an all-around disaster for the whole world, and particularly for West Asia. But the idea that the U.S., which was incapable of defeating the Taliban, with the whole of NATO backing it up after 20 years of warfare, is going to be able to defeat Iran, or that the same military that was unable to defeat Ansar Allah in Yemen over the attacks on Red Sea, the solidarity attacks on Red Sea shipping by Ansar Allah, the idea that that same military is going to defeat Iran with all of its military capabilities, a population of 90 million people, and a territory that's the size of Western Europe, is laughable. It's utterly laughable. This is a fool's errand. It's outright suicidal. But that's the nature of the game when you're ruled by the Epstein regime, sadly. So let us hope that all of us who are predicting war turn out to be wrong. Now, I'm going to make one last effort. By the way, I've seen more amazing generosity from people in the chat. Gozijan with a $50 super sticker. Thank you so much. Few1484, also a $50 super sticker. Incredible generosity today. Thank you so much. We will, I assure you, put it to good use, including for the purposes of helping our comrades in Cuba. So let me see if I can, before we sign off, whether we can get Ram. Here he is. Ram, you there? Yes, folks. Sorry. I wanted to get closer to the American embassy, but I think there's like a dead zone. So I kind of crashed there. But where I'm right now seems to be the most stable. Can you show us? Can you show us the embassy of the Great Satan? How do I turn my cameras? Okay, so turn your back to it. So right there, there's the monument of the USS Maine. It's going to sound very funny here, but there's probably more solidarity here with the American people in Cuba than in America itself. There's schools named after Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and USS Maine. USS Maine was a naval carrier, a ship that the Americans bombed themselves as a false flag to justify their involvement in the Cuban War of Independence against the Spaniards. But right beyond the USS Maine monument, I don't know if you guys could see it. It may be very, very small. But then there's the Jose Marti statue. Jose Marti is the kind of the Simón Bolívar of Cuba. He's like this national hero who kind of fought for the independence against the Spaniards. And then right after it, there's the embassy. I can't see it. I could barely see it myself. But the U.S. Embassy of the Great Satan is there. I tried to walk towards there to change the scenery a bit, but sadly, it seems like it's a dead zone for the internet. Yeah. So you were in the midst of, when you got cut off last time, you were explaining to us what that dance video was. Could you tell us a little more about that? So I had just interviewed Ivan Ernesto Barreto, a friend of mine,
and he's also a member of the Cuban Institute for the Friendship with the Peoples. I had met him 4 or 5 years ago, and we had interviewed him right after the U.S. kidnapping of President Maduro. And after I had interviewed him, there was some music playing in the back, and he said we should go there at the Cuban Pavilion, with the Cuba Pavilion, where they host events on Saturdays for free, where people could listen to music and dance. And he said, this is the response to the siege on Cuba. Despite the difficulty, the lack of fuel, around this time, it's generally when you experience blackouts, people are still dancing and having fun and doing the most with what they have. And I found this to be beautiful. And I'll tell you one thing, Ivan Ernesto Barreto has salsa in the blood. I don't know if you guys could see these steps over there. I mean, there's too much, as they say in Latin America, too much sazon, too much seasoning.
I think it's just the right amount of seasoning myself. I'm a pretty spicy guy. So in any case, so before we sign off, Rami, can you tell us what your plan is for the rest of your reporting excursion to Cuba?
So
have a plan.
Today I filmed an introduction for a report I'll be publishing. I already interviewed Ivan Ernesto Barreto. I'll be interviewing Yazan, the guy that you guys saw with the Palestinian flag. He's this Palestinian student who's studying at Elam. He's from Jerusalem. I'll interview him probably in an hour or two. I'm going to the gas station today. That is for the taxis that sign contracts with hospitals to transport patients with dialysis. I'll try to interview someone there. Tomorrow, there's a comrade from Sweden that will be coming in. I'll try to interview her. And again, Dimitri, remember we did this report on Daniel Siad?
Yes.
And remember I was talking about...
Where is Siad today? Is he still in Paris as far as we know? This is, by the way, this is a recruiter for Epstein, just so you know, people.
Yeah. So he's still in Paris. I think he's under arrest, but not currently detained. And he had some suspicious recruiting business here in Havana. I'll try to investigate that. And then I'll try to document more of the fuel embargo. I think as of Monday, as of tomorrow, this is when a lot more of the oil will be, remaining oil will be depleted. So hopefully I'll be able to document more of the impacts of the American siege on the great revolutionary Cuban people.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, one of our audience members, Co-op W101, is asking for you to show us Gitmo. By the way, Co-op W101, Rami and I discussed that, and I think that's going to be a challenge because Gitmo is quite far from where Rami is. Is there any chance you'll be able to get to Guantanamo, Rami?
So, Guantanamo Bay is in the Guantanamo region. It's maybe an extra 2 hours away from Santiago de Cuba. And currently, at the moment, all internal flights within the country have stopped. So there's no flights from Havana to Santiago de Cuba. The trains are passing by much less frequent. And there's not much fuel. So I would love to go. But I don't think it's physically possible nor responsible due to the lack of fuel. One thing that I'm trying very hard to do is I'm trying to access a solar panel farm. There's apparently 800 megawatts of solar panels that have been installed by joint Cuban-Chinese enterprises. And I saw them in the plane landing through Havana. I'm trying to get there. And I'll try to film more of the blackouts as well. It's just very depressing to go out at night when it's all dark. So I really haven't found the strength to do it. But as my flight out of Cuba is coming closer and closer, I'll try to force myself tonight to do some journalism at night and to film how life is in the darkness of the blackout. I try to get home by like 7 p.m.
Right.
Not because it's dangerous, but truly it's very, very, very depressing at night.
Some people in the chat are asking about, these reports that Russia is sending oil. Have you heard anything about that? Any kind of coming from Russia, as far as you know?
So my first day in Cuba, I went to drop off my luggage. I went to Ivan's house, and then his wife was telling me that there may or may not have been a Russian fuel tanker that got here to Cuba, but people are not very open to speak about it, just because if you talk about it as a victory, you're giving fuel to the Americans to intercept the next Russian fuel tanker. So I think it happened. People are very discreet about it, but Cubans are looking to win, not to win, to serve, well, to receive fuel, and to not necessarily celebrate it as a middle finger to the Americans, because that the Americans have no shame and they might just go after the next Russian tanker. So I don't know. I mean, look, there's more. Before coming to Cuba, I expected the situation to be a bit worse. And I believe that there's probably some clandestine ways for fuel to come into the country. There is a black market of fuel, and black markets tend to find alternatives for goods to enter the island. Bahamas, sorry, is 20 kilometers off of the eastern coast of Cuba. I'm certain that there's probably some ships, like small ships. By the way, I don't know if you can see, but behind me there's a Chinese truck just passing by over there. Anyways, there's probably some ships coming in, maybe small sailboats with, I don't know, hundreds of liters of oil coming in, but definitely not enough. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if the Russian ship actually came in or not, but I don't think we will get the definitive answer, and I'm pretty sure it's best for us not to know.
Okay. So before we sign off, Rami, some people in the chat are convinced that you need a hat. I often get that comment when I walk in the sun myself, but with such a lovely head of hair, I wonder if you really do need a hat. what do I know? So
I spent a lot of time thinking, why is the internet so good here? It's because it's so damn hot and the sun is hitting so strongly. I think I'm the only one stupid enough to be walking around the Malecon right now.
Right. Okay, before we sign off, I just want to just respond to some comments from our friend Selma, who was talking about F-35s being stationed in Greece. I will, and this is, I intend to return to Greece in next month, in March. I'll be there for several months until about the end of spring, early summer. And it is a priority for me to get to Suda Bay. This is the U.S. military base on the island of Crete. So I absolutely agree, Selma, that is some investigative work that needs to be done, because I have a strong suspicion that if there is a war, that traitorous, vassal Kyriakos Mitsotakis, the Prime Minister of Greece, is going to do everything he can to assist the United States and Israel in their war of aggression on Iran. And in fact, there was a report that this is officially confirmed, that Mitsotakis regime is sending 150 Greek soldiers to be part of the International Stabilization Force, this fraudulent imperial force that they want to insert into the Gaza Strip. So for those of you who want to follow the development of that conflict, assuming it does take the direction we expect it to, pay close attention to what the European not just Greece, what Cyprus will be doing, what Italy will be doing. There's going to be a lot of double dealing here, where the Europeans are telling you, as the Canadian government, officially taking the position that they don't support the war in Iran, but in actual fact, they will be supporting it militarily. And so those of us who live in Europe, who have a presence in Europe, we need to do all we can to expose what they're really doing and how they're really participating in this war of aggression. So with that, Rami, do you have anything else to add before we let you go?
Sadly, but
We can't. We didn't.
no,
we didn't
nothing for me to add.
Okay.
No,
Thank you.
nothing to add, folks, other than support the Cuban people, donate to the Nuestra America flotilla. Maybe you could post the description in the description of this video.
Yes. And don't forget to send me the list of the items that are needed the most, so I can put that in the description too.
Sounds good.
Okay. Take care, brother. Everybody, pleasure talking to you today, and we look forward to speaking to you in our next live stream. Peace out.